Hello, everybody. This is Chalisa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. It is Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025. I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about a robbery that took place during church service this past weekend. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to everybody who's listening using Spotify. Everyone, please don't forget to follow me, rate the podcast, and you can also leave a comment on Spotify. It really helps me as a creator. And also, if you do the same for Apple Podcasts, once again, it helps me as a creator. And of course, thank you so much to everybody who is watching the video right now on YouTube. And I'm also recording here on Spotify. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I just wanted to do more videos to put up on Spotify, so that is the reason. So crazy times that we're living in, right? Um, there's a lot happening. A lot of people are commenting how they feel like they been being kind of like followed and things like this. We have to be aware of our surroundings. I think more than ever, okay, there's a lot of people having difficult situations right now, meaning it could be like work, financial, things like this. And we just have to be aware. I mean, we are living in the last days, so we need to be aware of our surroundings. Something that I'm going to tell you is that about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I was in New York City and I had just gotten in the train to go there, right? Because I tend to go there often during the weekend. And I never had an issue, even if I drive, I never have an issue. But this time I was like, I'm just gonna take the train down to the city. And I got into the train, it was kind of quiet for a Saturday, I think it was very quiet. But I'm like, okay, when I got in my station, I got in the train, there was nobody in the whole wagon that I was in, right? And then the next stop came in, and out of nowhere, this guy comes and sits right next to me. And he kept looking over and then moving like his whole body, kind of like he was shaking or something, but not really making eye contact with me. And I was like, not today. This is not gonna happen today. Like, I don't know who you are. Why will you come and sit right next to me, kind of like on the edge of the other seat, to kind of be closer? And he kept on looking this way and looking back. And I remember I had told the conductor that I was looking to pay for my ticket on my phone. And he said, okay, I'll come back to you. And after I noticed that this guy comes in on the second station that we stopped in and nobody else came to our wagon, I was like, I was so shocked. I'm like, how can I be this only guy? And why is he sitting right next to me? Like, there's no need for this, right? So I was like, okay, not today. I was like, not today. So I immediately felt uncomfortable and I got up and, moved. And I acted like I was looking for the conductor, the people that are going to check your ticket. Because I did, he hadn't checked mine. So I know he was going to come back for that. Because I did say, I'm still trying to pay online. Give me a moment. And then we go to the next stop, right? And crazy enough, nobody else got in the train, in the same session that I was in with the other guy there. And I was a little terrified, because not terrified, but I was in such an alert, because I'm like, this never happened. What is going on? Like, the train to New York from where I take it from is never this quiet, right? And why is this guy there? And then I got up to the front and I'm like, I don't want to look too nervous to him, but I was like, I gotta protect myself. So I don't want him following me right to the front. Because if he comes and moves and sits behind what I'm moving now, what I just moved to wait for more people, I'm like, that's not gonna be. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna walk to the next one, right? But then I think it was like after the third or fourth stop, eventually people came in, and the conductor, the attendant, never came back. He came back maybe like when we were like what, like 10 minutes before Grand Central. I'm like, oh, now it's coming back, and by then, obviously, the train was filled completely. But I was like, it's so strange to me how this guy just comes and sits right next to me in an empty train, right? So things like this is that you have to be aware. And sometimes we like, oh, it's just nothing. Um, you know, things like this happen all the time. It does, but sometimes, we can make everything to made out. We can take everything as a coincidence, right? I think I felt so uncomfortable immediately, and I was like, why is he? I was like, are you serious? And he's gonna come and sit right there, and then he's like moving and like not really making eye contact with me, but kind of like trying to look over and then not really making eye contact. I was like, out of all the seats, he doesn't need to be here, and I felt uncomfortable, so I got up, right? So we need to see things for what they are. There's a lot of people who are reporting things, coming out and making videos about how they got follow, from Walmart. A lot of Walmart things that are happening for some reason that like stores like that, right? Supermarket stores and things like this. So I think we're living in those times that we need to be aware of our surroundings more than ever, and just because of the situation that a lot of people are struggling with right now, as we know it. I think this case that happened in Texas, I'm going to read to you this article, is about this man who was robbing the church during Sunday worship service. Imagine something like this, right? A Texas man has been charged with allegedly robbing a church during its Sunday worship service, having attempted to steal the collected offerings. And his name is Cheton Augusta, 24 years old, walked into the Greater Tabernacle Baptist Church of Bryan on Sunday, so this past Sunday, during a service, having waited until it was announced that the collection has been taken, so the gifts and offerings. So he waited for that. He allegedly entered the sanctuary and went straight for the offering plates, grabbing the envelopes and cash before exiting the building. So such a targeted, determined attack that this man just did, right? Authorities said churchgoers told police that Augusta, that's the name of the guy, was wearing a mask and put his hand in his pocket to imply that he had a weapon. Are you serious? I didn't know he was wearing a mask and acting as though he had a weapon. That's very scary, right? For something like this to happen, like when you're like doing Sunday worship service. After Augusta was arrested, he reportedly told the authorities that he stole the offering money because the church has had or allegedly stolen his money. Oh my goodness, wow. So he has some type of situation going on there, right? And they're saying this is not the first time that Augusta had a run-in with the law. In June of 2022, he was arrested twice for a handgun possession first and evading arrest second, um, and then having another improper event permit. Some stories says here the special events permit occurred in College Station at that time, with him becoming loud and openly confrontational when police approached him, and he was later released on a $300 bond. So in recent years, there have been greater awareness of attacks on churches in the U.S. that include arson and attempted shootings, with effort being made to improve church security. And we see it, right? It's in the headlines. I think yes, they need more security more than ever in churches. I do, I'm all for that, definitely. It says here, they're talking about the politics. I don't want to get into this comment. I do apologize about that. And then the Department of Homeland Security said all Americans should be able to practice their religion without fear or any type of violence. So this guy is probably known in that church. Obviously, he said he did what he did because the church already stole money from them. But what a terrifying moment to be in church service and this guy comes in with a mask and acting as though like he had a weapon. So let me read some of the comments here. It says here that somebody said this is a comment that somebody left. I'm gonna read it to you. That after reading this article, that he said he stole the money because the church already stole from him. Somebody said maybe he was paying tithes and then studied the Bible to realize the church had robbed him, so he just wanted to get his money back. That being the case, he should have asked them for his money back, not to steal it back. So the church stole for him. Somebody said, "I want to hear the whole story." Okay. I'm sure. I mean, this guy is probably known in that church, so maybe the church will come out and say something about it. Who knows, right? In this case, we can be thankful that nobody was hurt. Definitely, right? That the thief got caught, of course, right? I mean, like I said, it's a terrifying moment to be in church service and something like this happened. That's crazy. So we are so thankful that nothing happened. But I think like we need to be more aware of our surroundings, definitely. Okay. And sometimes not everything has to be a coincidence. When I referring to the story that I told you earlier, I just couldn't understand why that guy just came and sat right next to me like that. In an empty train, because I mean, I always, you always have people sitting near you or next to you, right? But like in a whole empty train, like I was like, oh my goodness, we're not doing this right now. I was like, I'm not dealing with this right now. I'm like, I'm not even going. I'm gonna walk all the way to the front because I just felt so uncomfortable right away when that happened. Let me tell you. So I just want to say, I wanted to share that article with you guys about the robbery in the church. We need to be aware of our surroundings, and we could continue to pray, because I know there's a lot of people right now who are waiting for this government shutdown to end, right? And I cannot believe it's taking this long, to be honest. I cannot believe it's taking this long. And the problem with that is like, if they don't get with the program in this and they let it run continually longer and longer, like when you don't take care of something in the moment, you get used to it being like that. And that is not right, because it's affecting so many people. It's affecting so many people. So it needs to be fixed. So we pray for that, okay? We pray for a solution to come sooner. I know they funded back the SNAP benefits, but only partially. And I cannot believe it's taking this long. But let me know, guys, what you think about this. What I shared with you earlier. You can leave a comment. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you to everybody who is listening to the podcast. Have a good day.